Little late night stream. We down for a little late night stream?
The best show for Chicago sports.
Why the Bears news got to end? Because it's a little later in the evening. Got a lot to get to on today's episode. Got to talk about an emotional Tyson Bagent getting the baggy bag. Also want to take a look at what we saw from the final training camp practice today. Had a very, very interesting practice. I think Caleb looks still very on point. But we got to work on some of the pre-snap stuff. It's better, but it ain't great. And I got a real question on the tackle position on this team, not just on the left side. Got to talk about the right side as well. All that and more on today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. I know. I see y'all in the chat. Bro, it's 9 p.m. Go to bed. I'm tired of this. Nah, bro. I had stuff that was going on in the house. That don't mean that y'all don't get this content. I had stuff going on today. Had to run all the way from Hallis to get here. You think I'm driving to Hallis to get back here? And you not gonna get this content? You gonna get this content. You know what I need y'all to do? I need y'all to do me a favor. Go ahead and
come on. Push the button. Come on. Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push the button.
You heard what she said.
Y'all heard what Sue Young said. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. Let's start it off here. Tyson Bagent conversation. I think you gotta jump into that immediately. A very emotional Tyson Bagent today, and for good reason. I love seeing it. Y'all know how I am on this channel, right? Y'all know how I am when it comes to people accomplishing their dreams and being able to go all out and you know, finally see the ultimate goal. Tyson Bagent, absolutely deserving this contract. I think he's one of the better backups in the NFL. I think he's one of the best backups in the NFL. And we'll talk about, you know, some of Ben Johnson's comments on that as well. But I mean, when it comes down to when you're in that room and you see the emotion on Tyson's face and you know it's, hey, Pop, you never got to worry about this again. Moms, you never got to worry about this again. Yo, we taking care of that. That's going to be done. Like when you hear and feel the emotion of what Tyson clearly was expressing there, how can you not be moved by it? And as somebody who's trying to follow their dreams and get the baggy bag off of that, man, I applaud it. As far as the player on the football field, I think Ben Johnson hit the nail on the head today. You know, when he was talking about the quarterback room, he said, I don't think there's any question about it. I've really been blown away by Tyson's approach from the spring to the start of camp to where we are now. He does a tremendous job knowing what to do, how to do it, and getting it done. So I don't think you can have enough talent in that room. I think we actually have one of the best rooms in the NFL, certainly that I have been around in my career from top to bottom. We have 3 to 4 guys that could play in this league. And so I really feel strongly about where we're at there. And I agree. Listen, there's a lot that Caleb has to do to prove this right? Like you can't overlook the fact that Caleb Williams has to be Caleb Williams for this to hit for you, right? For you to be able to say that this is one of the best quarterback rooms in football. But when you talk about a group of guys that goes to work every single day, has an understanding of this system, knows how they want to go out there and handle their business, gets out there, and I mean, it seems like to me, just from looking on from afar, that every single day you can talk about this team going out there and doing just that. You could talk about these quarterbacks going out there and, you know, now that we're here, I mean, they were at different points There was a point where Tyson seemed like he knew the system a little bit better than Caleb, and Caleb still had the skill set. Now it feels like, Caleb and Tyson are kind of on the same plane when it comes to the knowledge. But you have 3 quarterbacks on this team right now that all can go out there and run the system, and you have a head coach who's an absolute maniac. Did y'all see that Twitter video of him just like, I'm going rogue? Like, what the heck was that? I don't know if y'all saw that video on Twitter, man, but he had this moment where he's just like, I'm going rogue. We're not running the plays that I planned out. We going rogue. It's like, you planned this out. But when you see that kind of coach with 3 quarterbacks in the room that understand the system, know where they're supposed to be, know how to run the system, and are just putting the ball in the right spot, Ben Johnson is giving you the answers to the test. You just got to go out there and have the talent to put the ball in the right bubble, if you will. The combination that you're seeing right now from this quarterback room, I think you have to have some confidence in. I think you have to look at it and say, hey, we have something that could be special, because how many teams can you honestly say, now listen, whatever you think about Caleb Williams, right? I would assume that he's going to be at a minimum a little bit better than what we saw last season, just off of experience, just off of the player that he is, and the fact that he has an offensive line. Let's say, and knock on whatever you need to knock on, Caleb Williams goes down. Let's say Caleb Williams, rolls an ankle or whatever, X, Y, and Z happen. How many teams in this NFL truly have a backup that can walk in the door and you go, hey, I still feel like we should win this game. I still feel confident in where this team is. And dare I say, you've got 2. I'll tell you this right now. Case Keenum may be the old man in the room, but you put Case back in there, he's still a starting caliber quarterback in this NFL. Now, do I want him starting 17 games? No. I don't think anybody wants to live in that situation. But you throw Case out there right now, Case can go out there and get you some dubs, especially when you have a head coach who, like I said, is giving you the answers to the test. When I rewatched the tape of that game, there are so many times where, and I get it, it's preseason, you're going up against the 2s. I think we'll get a much better view of this against the Kansas City Chiefs this upcoming week. But when you watch the tape versus the Bills, and you see Caleb Williams go down the field, he has the big drive, and that's the conversation we talk about all week. We talk about the Caleb drive, the second drive that he doesn't score on, by the way. And I'm not taking it away. Rome should catch that ball. Maybe Caleb needs to put a better ball on Rome on that. Hey, Caleb said as much. But you have this then backup quarterback come in, still versus the 2s and 3s. Still versus the 2s, I should say. And it doesn't look like the team misses a beat. And I'll say that for the entire team. You got backup wide receivers coming in. You've got backup offensive linemen coming in. Tyson Bagent knows where the ball is supposed to go, knows he needs to get that ball out quick, because you're not standing behind a Joe Tooney or a Drew Dahlman or a Jonah Jackson or a Darnell Wright. Because you don't have that situation in place for you. And you see Tyson Bagent drop back and go, this ball's supposed to be here. I got to deliver it on time. Boom. How many teams in the NFL truly can say that? That you feel confident about? And I'll give you one more on this, because I do know it's preseason. I think, again, we'll see a lot more versus the Chiefs. That you also feel confident enough that you have a head coach who's going to say, hey, this guy may not have the same cannon as the quarterback we just had in here, or he may not have the same wheels, or he may not have the same X, Y, and Z, you name whatever it is. So I'm going to adjust my game plan to fit what this young man does, because we still got all this talent around him to make it work for him. That's what we're seeing out of Ben Johnson, and that's what I love about not just this quarterback room. I think that makes, like, to Ben's credit, I do agree with him. I think he's got one of the best quarterback rooms in football. If Caleb Williams goes out there and is Caleb Williams. But I also think you got to have the conversation that understanding what you have, understanding what this team is. That's why I thought it was so funny when the Detroit players were talking about, man, it's crazy to see them out there running these plays and doing X, Y, and Z, and seeing Ben, seeing somebody else be successful with those plays. And Ben Johnson's like, yeah, that's the stuff I run that for the last 4 years. All the same stuff. I would assume that they understand what it is because it's the exact same stuff they've been running. But when we get into the season, there's going to be different wrinkles because I have a different team. There's a lot about this team right now where, I know we're in the wait and see mode. I know we're in the, I don't know. I'm not ready to go there yet. I know we're cautious, and that's okay to be cautious. But there's a lot about this team that we've been seeing too consistently in practice that feels real. And I think that's the big thing for me with all of it. When I look at Caleb's growth, when I look at the defense, when I look at, how Tyson Bagent has grown as a player, when I look at how this offensive line has come together, which may be one of the under talked about things that we've really had in this entire thing. When I look at all of these things, right, that are happening in practice, if you're seeing it in practice on a consistent basis, there's probably a good expectation that you can see some of that in the game. And more than likely that you're going to see most of that in the game. Because it's stuff that's happening play in and play out. You're not looking for the flash plays with this team anymore. Even today. Final day of training camp. Kind of. I mean, we got more practices, but this is actually the last day of training camp. There are two things that have remained incredibly consistent. By the way, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. There are two things that have remained incredibly consistent. One good and one bad. The number one thing that has been consistent for this Bears team has been, since we've gotten out of install, it seems like Caleb understands where his eyes are supposed to go, Tyson as well. Understands where the ball needs to go, is on time, is on target, and is hitting his receivers more times than not. You had that first day, that Monday, I think, of last week, that was a little bit ugly. And since then, and that was the first day out of install as well. And since then, you have seen nothing but consistency in practice every single day. We're not talking about flashes. That's my good. And I think you're seeing that from a multitude of people. Now, the one bad thing that I would say, if I had to have a positive and a negative, and again, it popped up today, less, but it did pop up, the pre-snap penalties. The pre-snap penalties continue to be an issue for this team, and yet again, we are sitting here talking about them. I think that is going to be one of the things that this team struggles with. I think that is going to be one of the things that this team ends up on a week in and week out basis having an issue with. Because I just can't believe, and because we saw this last year, right? I just can't believe that you can go through camp the entire time. And maybe it will die down a little bit when you get a set 5. Remember, you don't have a set 5 just yet. So I do think that it might die down a little bit when you get a set 5. But the pre-snap penalties are incredibly prevalent. And I can't believe just because you had one good drive in preseason, just because you had a good showing versus the Buffalo Bills, that all of a sudden everything that we've seen in practice is magically going to disappear. I do think this is going to be one of those things that the Chicago Bears are going to struggle with all season. The hope is that you can get it down lower. But you've got a team right now that seems to consistently be getting, I believe there were 3 false starts today. I think there was 1 hold. But again, that's better. Like the penalties there are better. And Reggie, I see your comment. He said, I don't know, it was supposed to be an issue heading into the Bills game, and there weren't any. Remember last year's preseason. Last year in preseason, I kept telling you guys every single day, and I know the offensive linemen are different. Joe Tooney's not out there. There's a bunch of different things that go into that. But I kept telling you guys every single day, I don't know. This offensive line looks bad. This offensive line is getting run over. There's a lot of problems out here. And then in preseason, all of a sudden, I was like, well, maybe they only show up for game day. Like, I've never seen a team do this, but maybe practice isn't the problem. When game day comes, they show up. Then the first game of the season comes, and I believe Caleb Williams in that Titans game had 9 sacks. Was that the first 9-sack game for Caleb Williams? Or was that the Houston game? No, that was the Houston game after it. There was a lot of sacks. Pause. So while you've got your positives right now, you also have some of the negatives that you have to look at. And honestly, I love the fact that we've got Ben Johnson here because he's not shying away from it. He's not running away from it. Now, again, I don't think this is going to be a killer for this team because I do believe that Ben Johnson understands what it's going to take to go out there and okay, we're going to find the guy. And we saw it today. It was, I believe, Darnell Wright had a false start, pulled Darnell Wright out of the drill. Ozzie Trapillo gets in. Ozzie Trapillo has a false start. They kick. He takes the first team off of the field after that and says, "Hey, that's the end of your time. That you're done there. We got everybody else that needs to get reps." That's for me like a head coach that understands, hey, we gotta have guys on the field that are getting better at this. And right now, that's not you. Now, again, in game, maybe they will prove me wrong. Maybe it will turn out differently. Maybe they will go out and say, hey, this is, in game, it's better and it looks better and it feels better. And it's something that, again, this team may be able to overcome. But that's just usually not how it goes in practice. And I've said this, as excited as I am about this season, as excited as I am about what the Chicago Bears can be this year, when I hear Dan Rashar speak, I'm listening. I'm truly concerned about the tackle position. I'm truly concerned right now about the left and right tackle position. I like Darnell Wright. I think that he has talent. I think that there is something that we need to see a little bit more start to happen with, because when I watch Darnell Wright, I see a good player. But you took Darnell Wright top 15. I don't see an all-pro. I just don't. I see maybe a Pro Bowler, maybe. But there are things that are happening way too often for me to say, yeah, that's an all-pro player. when you see all pro players start to click, it's usually like, look at this guy dominating. That's an all pro player. Even last year, with all the questions, right, that we heard around Jalen Carter, or 2 years ago, I should say, with all the questions we heard around Jalen Carter, everybody was like, yo, look at this kid. This kid's a monster. He can play. Think about every all-pro player, every dominant player. Jared Verse, rookie year last year. All you heard was, look, Verse doing some things right now. Yo, we got a good offensive line here. Verse around that edge is scary. And I get it. I'm naming different positions than the offensive line. But I'm saying usually at this point, too, we're coming into, is this year 4 of Darnell or year 3? This is year 3 of Darnell, right? We double check. This is year 3 of Darnell, right? And it doesn't mean he's bad. Don't take this as, oh, Pat said Darnell Wright sucks. No. What I said is I'm starting to get concerned because you took a right tackle top 10. Was he 10 or was he 11? What was Darnell in that draft? 10. 10th overall pick. You took a right tackle, I should say, top 10. And I'm not seeing an all-pro player. Doesn't mean you can't win. Doesn't mean you can't go. Look, we're seeing quarterbacks every year go out there and win with better interiors than exteriors. Right? We're seeing these guys go out there and win with Pat Mahomes hasn't had a tackle and who knows how long. But it definitely feels like the tackle position right now at both sides is going to be a concern for you heading into this season. And Braxton, I mean, I think at this point, based off of what we saw today in practice, what we saw in the game, Braxton's your starting left tackle. Prepare yourselves, Bears fans. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Feels like what we saw in the game right now, what we're seeing, like Braxton's your starting left tackle. Today at practice, I mean, you're seeing a Braxton Jones that is just getting run around by Dayo Odangbo. And I think Dayo Odangbo is actually going to be better in this scheme. I think that Dayo fits this scheme. I think he makes a lot of sense for this scheme. I think he's going to be fine. But you kind of know that the likelihood that Dayo Odangbo is going to become one of the best pass rushers in football is not that high. You kind of know that, right? You can say he's going to be a solid pass rusher. I believe, and I think I said this the day we signed Dayo, because of the scheme that he's going to be coming in and what he's going to be asked to do. I said Dayo can be an 8 to 9 sack guy. That's a good player. He shouldn't be moving around Braxton Jones the way he is, though. And so my concern right now is that tackle is going to be an issue for you this season. My concern right now is that tackle is on both sides, maybe something that you're keeping an eye on this season as we come into year 3 of Darnell Wright and we're coming into payment year of Braxton Jones. But now here's what we also continue to see at practice. Again, concerns, but why do you go get Ben Johnson? Concerns, Bears fans, but why do you go get Ben Johnson? Because Ben Johnson, your hope is that he's a coach that can overcome those concerns. What we're seeing out of the quarterback, yes, there is some guys getting beat on that left and right side. Yes, there is moments where the tackles are not up to snuff. Yes, there are moments where we're seeing some of those false starts. But you know what we also see from the quarterback position? Ball's out. Boom. You know where the ball's supposed to go? You know where the ball is supposed to, when the ball is supposed to come out. You know who you're supposed to get the ball to. Ball's out. Boom. That's the most important part of all of this. That's how Joe Burrow stands back there and becomes the best quarterback in football, in my opinion. That's how Pat Mahomes, year after year after year, goes out there and delivers the football and delivers the football to Super Bowl runs, in my opinion. Again, when I look through the line, Darnell Wright, I feel like he's fine. I think your interior's set. I think you got Braxton on the left side. That's the best you're going to get right now. Maybe that turns into Ozzie at some point this season. Maybe that turns into Theo Benedict at some point this season. I heard, Ben Johnson again in that video that I think the Bears dropped on Twitter where he's just like, yeah, Theo just looks like a tackle, don't he? And there's some development that needs to happen there. But if you get rid of those footballs quick enough that the pressure can't get to you, then it doesn't matter. You got to be on time, on target, and you also got to have a coach that understands the moment. That was the big problem last year, right? Like, we're sitting there and we're like, every week, am I wrong on this? Every week we're sitting there going, Caleb has no time to throw this football. We got to be doing quick passes. And then we watch the tape, and there's these long over routes, and there's these 10-yard digs, and there's like all of these plays are just like, what about this makes sense? And then for the short game, for some reason, he hated the middle of the field. For the short game under Shane Waldron, screen pass, screen pass, screen pass, screen pass, screen pass. You ain't getting that from Ben Johnson. That's the part you should be excited about. That's the part to me that's going to be the game changer for this Chicago Bears team this year. And it's why I'm still saying I feel like this is a 9-win team right now that can do more if depending on how the schedule breaks for you. If you're a healthy team and you start off this season fast, you could 110% see a Bears team that finds a way to win games. And I continue to say this about the defense. The defense looks ready. I continue to say this about the defense. The defense looks ready. You give them an opportunity to go out there, and we'll see on Sunday, right? We get to see the starters, so now we'll get to see kind of what this defense is looking like. But you get this defense going, how they look in the middle, how they're looking to attack. Now, I do have some concerns right now with where our DB depth is. We lost Terrell Smith for the season. That's something to pay attention to. Kyler Gordon was back out there today, which was good to see. Zay Frazier also was out there today. Neither of them participated in team drills. Zay Frazier did nothing. He just had the jersey on. Kyler Gordon kind of did the one-on-one drills. And that was about it. But I look at where this team is at right now offensively, and I see a defense that if they go out and continue to play the way that we've seen them play in this preseason, throughout these joint practices, through these practices, can pick the offense up until the offense gets itself comfortable. Shout out to y'all, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Let's see what the comments is hitting on. We got a prayers up to Terrell Smith. Yeah, torn patella tendon for Terrell Smith. He's out for the season. Hate to see that. I thought that was one of the gut punches of this thing. Adrian Mass says, here's the thing though, Pat. I watched the O-line in one-on-one drills, and the thing I saw Darnell do to Ed Oliver, Chop Robinson in joint practice was rude. When it came to 11-on-11, the false starts though. Listen, again, I'm not saying Darnell Wright's bad. I'm not telling you that Darnell Wright is this guy that's going to be a constant problem on the offensive line. I'm not telling you Darnell Wright's Braxton Jones. I'm telling you for where you took him, I'm a little bit concerned that he's not all pro Darnell Wright. Who said that? Louis Riddick, I think, said that. I'm a little bit concerned, as Dan Rashard said, that at times he is unfocused. I'm a little bit concerned that at times he is not giving enough effort. I talked to Tom Waddle. I've never been a professional football player, never been a college football player. I mean, I had a high school summer. It was fun until I dislocated the shoulder. I talked to Tom Waddle. I said, when you hear these comments, what does that mean to you? And his response to me was, there are two things that you can control on the football field. It's your focus and your effort. And Darnell is having trouble daily, per Dan Rashard, putting those things into effect. And it's not even, it doesn't mean it's every play. But what I think you have to take a look at is that it only takes one play to change an entire drive. If you're not focused enough on one play and that guy blows past you and he lights Caleb Williams up, it's GG's. Possibly for that drive, possibly for the game. Depends on the play. The only two things you can focus on, or the only two things that you can consistently control, is focus and effort. And when my coach of the offensive line says this is the issue we've had with him, I do feel concerned about that. By the way, over 100 in that shit. No. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do, man. Appreciate y'all for showing love. 150 in the building. 59 likes on the video. Let's get it up over 100 likes, man. Jake Herman with a question. He said, why has it been quiet around DJ Moore? He seems like he's going down the same route as Mooney and Robinson. I wouldn't say that. The utilization for me of DJ Moore this season is completely different. I would say if you're watching the play, two guys' names who consistently you again are speaking on today, and it's been this way the entire practice. Olamide Zaccheaus, Rome Odunze. Doesn't mean DJ's not getting involved. I think what you're seeing from DJ Moore is the involvement is different. They're using him in different ways where DJ can be the player that we kind of love him to be. I want you to get the ball in his hands and go be magical. Go find a way to get through or push through or whatever it is, right? Like find a way to run a juke move that gets you around somebody. I think how they're trying to use DJ Moore is in a different capacity than what we've seen from teams in the past. Dare I say, you may be dealing with a Debo Moore this season. Now, is that how I want the Bears to use DJ Moore? I don't know. We'll see it. We'll see what happens when they hit the field. But clearly there's a relationship right now between Rome Odunze, between Olamide Zaccheaus that is higher. And I would even throw Colston Loveland in there. That feels to me, when I watch it, that feels like it's higher than where it's at with DJ Moore right now. And I think that's not what you expected to see. And I get people looking at it and saying, oh, this is going to be bad. Why would you do this? I don't think it is. I think how they can utilize DJ. I know, like, seeing him in the running back position and then they actually run the football. You're like, are we really running the football right now with DJ Moore? Are we really doing that? A lot of times you see a play run so that you can set up another play off of that. One thing that we've continued to see is when we've seen those plays where DJ is in the backfield, there's always that option to either send them out in the flat or you send DJ into motion to where he gets into the backfield and then he goes out and he runs, runs a route that pops him open on the left side. Like, there's so many things that we've seen from DJ Moore in this training camp that I truly think there's going to be a completely different utilization of him than he's ever had in his career. And I'll be honest with you, it may be the best way to get him involved, because I don't know if you guys were listening to the broadcast or not, but there was a point where Greg Olson was talking about Luther Burden. And he said, from what he heard from Ryan Poles, and he was like, Poles probably going to be mad at me for saying this, but that he believes that Luther Burden may be the best wide receiver of the entire bunch. So if you're telling me we've got an Olamide Zaccheaus who's just incredibly good at his job and has a great relationship with Caleb, we've got a Rome Odunze already, I've got a Colston Loveland, I still got a Cole Kmet in that mix. And at some point, we feel like Luther Burden is going to be one of the best receivers of this bunch. You got to find special ways to use DJ Moore. I don't know what it means for the future. I don't know what it means for if he's going to be traded. I don't know. But if you're telling me we got all of that, and then I also got DJ Moore back here who can be anything you want, I'm ready to live in that world. I'm ready to live in that world. I'm Worm Food, wild name. Said OZ might end up being a nice bargain chip for desperate teams who need a wide receiver. I don't think, I'll be honest with you, how OZ's camp has gone unless Luther Burden magically, wakes up and turns into this dominant piece this year, which you hope that he does. I don't think they're going to move on from Luther Burden or from Olamide Zaccheaus for a while here. I think Olamide Zaccheaus may go down as one of those great Ryan Poles signings that people say is a feather in his cap. Like, honestly, the relationship with, like, what you saw in that game was cool, but we say Olamide Zaccheaus so much at camp that white people know how to say Olamide Zaccheaus. Think about that. We talk about this dude so much at camp that there's white people out here walking up to me on the street. What are your thoughts on Olamide? Well, you couldn't say that before. Couldn't say that man name when he was on the doggone Washington Commanders. Like, OZ is balling. Day in, day out. And that connection that they have, it feels like it's something that's going to be there for a while. I don't see OZ going anywhere anytime soon. Rod D said, Pat, have you seen Luther Burden getting reps with the first team offense and with Caleb? Not as much. Not as much. Luther Burden has been, give me a second here. Every summer the spiders be trying to take over. I got to grab them. Luther Burden has been more so with Tyson Bagent. He's been more so with the second team. There are certain packages where he's in with the first team, but he's not a part of that unit, truthfully. He is the backup, the number 4, if you will, wide receiver. He's the other guy. And every time, every day, like, it's not like Luther Burden is having bad days, but what I will say is this. Yet there's always a play in practice that Luther clearly doesn't know where he's supposed to be. There's always a play in practice. Today there was a play where you see, I think Caleb was in. I believe Caleb was in. Yeah, Caleb. Hold on, let me look at my notes. Let me not lie to y'all. Okay, here we go. Backcast playable on the screen. Cole Kmet, good block. Oh man, Cole Kmet had a block today that was beautiful for DeAndre. So I mean, this team is blocking, bro. Like I'm so excited to see these mugs blocking today. Okay, so yeah, so there's a play today where Caleb checks, and you see the receivers shift. So there's a bunch set left, and I believe it is DJ, Rome, Colston. And on the other side, it's supposed to be Luther Burden. And he's over there, but he's too far out wide. This turns into a run play that Cole Kmet ends up then blocking on. I'm sorry, I said Colston Loveland. I meant Cole Kmet. And they have to tell Luther, come in. Finally gets in, said hut, boom, here we go. And Cole Kmet was laying the boom out there. I respected it because y'all know how I feel. I'm like, Cole, can I block? So it was good to see. JC in the building said, "Oh, you doing Breeze After Dark? Not that kind of show, buddy. You got to pay for that kind of show." There are still too many moments where Luther doesn't know where to be, at least in practice, it feels like. And that right now, I don't know if it's a concern, because when he gets the ball in his hands, he's able to go out there and be great. And to be honest with you, truth be told, you know, we've seen some of the best receivers go into situations where they were a little bit behind in the playbook, and the quarterback basically told them, this is what you got to do. And then they go out there and they made the play, and they're amazing, right? I think Shannon Sharp said that when he got to Baltimore, he was that way. He's like, I didn't know any of the playbook. They literally just were like, what are you running? Running it over. I bet. There I go. But those are the moments that I think will keep you behind a guy like Olamide Zaccheaus, who just knows his job, who knows the playbook, who knows what to do, who knows how to get there, who knows how to catch, who can run after the catch, who's got great speed. Like that's tough to build up. That's tough to beat. And so, Steve, wow, Windy Magic City Breeze is crazy. And so right now, to me, I don't see where you can move Luther Burden into this number one unit. If an injury happens, if something goes, I get it. But until then, he's the on the back burner, waiting in the wings. Dan Tanner with the super chat. Appreciate you, Tanner. Said, what up, P? I'm so happy for Bagent. The Bears are doing too many things right so far this preseason. Good stuff. Yeah, very happy for Bagent, bro. Very happy for Bagent. Sam M56 said, how has Javon been looking? So we did have a scary moment today at practice with Javon Dexter. There was it was terrifying. I'm not going to lie to you. I was going to say it wasn't that scary, but no, it was terrifying. So there was a play where Javon puts the hands up. I didn't see what happened. I think he got rolled up on, goes down. He's punching the ground. He's taking the helmet off. He's laying back. Oh, God, I'm going to die. He's sitting over there, gets up, walking gingerly, kind of limping, limps his way off. We're sitting there. We're like, oh, God, here we go. And then he goes back to the huddle. Probably next drive down with the twos, and he's in the huddle on the goal line with the twos and is back and is fine. I'm assuming. I don't know if that means he's going to play on Friday. We'll see what tomorrow brings, if there's any question marks on that. I don't know what that means for him for this Friday's game, but him going back out there was a good sign to see. All of that to say, I was terrified because he's been balling. Javon Dexter looks like he has taken that next step. He looks like he's the guy that you can look at in that second round and say, man, we might have got one with this. And I think pairing that up with Grady Jarrett, pairing that up with Big Bill, and Andrew Billings said it today as well. We asked him about it in the presser, and he was like, he's going to be all right. But pairing that up with the guys that you have on the interior right now, you got a dude who, and he finally understands, I would almost say perfectly, because we saw it a bunch of times against the Bills in the joint practice. He understands, I can't get to the quarterback, arms up. And he's massive. Every time I stand next to Javon, it's just like, bro, what did they feed you? Like it truly is a monster human being standing in the middle that if I can't get to you, I can make it very, very difficult for you to get this football over my head. And I love that. Oh, does he really, Baki? Dang, that man messing up his bag. We got breaking news on the Cubs front. Apparently, Kyle Tucker has a hairline fracture in his right hand. That's tough. That's tough. I'm sorry for that, Cubs fans. You know, we disagree on a lot of stuff. I don't like to see injuries. I don't want to see people get hurt. But I mean, he is a monster of a human being in the middle of that defensive line. And he has been balling at just about every point this offseason. And I love everything I'm seeing from him. I love everything I'm seeing from him. Wait a minute. I got to read it. What is this? Oh, okay. Baki, you got to give all the information here. This is from Jesse Rogers. I just went and looked this up. And this is on ESPN Chicago. This happened in June. So he's been playing through it, which is why he's down. So does that mean his money goes up? Because you know he's been dealing with a hairline fracture? I thought this was something new that happened tonight, but apparently this happened in June. Although Jesse did just drop this, so this is new news. But yeah, interesting. I guess he makes more money. Hey, Baki been off his game a little bit ever since he dropped that comment earlier, bro. That's when Baki been off his game, Jordan. Brandon Green said, Pat, please Booker update. He didn't practice today. He didn't practice today. So we don't have an injury update. Nobody's told us anything, but he didn't practice today. Is something to keep an eye out for. Let me get you the list of everyone that we didn't see out at practice today. Some of the absences that we had today. I'll say this. It truly felt like there weren't 90 people out there. Like, we've got enough people out there out of the practice where I was like, this looks like we cut some people. But we had no Johnson, no Monungai, no Homer. So all you had was DeAndre Swift and everybody that we brought in. No Keenum, no Duvernay, no JP Richardson, no Blackwell, no Agbangbamiga, no Kramer, no Robinson, no Booker. And then Tremaine Edmonds ended up leaving practice early. We don't know what that injury is just yet. But yeah, you got some injuries piling up. There's a little bit of a concern there. And hopefully it's all good by the time we get to week 1. But now, on the bright side, like I said, Kyler Gordon was out there. You had Zay Frazier out there back with the team. Still don't know what that is. I've talked about that a couple of times. You know, like when you're out that long, there's a concern there that it could be something serious because that was a personal issue. But I don't want to speculate on what that could be. As I've said the entire time, just prayers up to him, prayers up to anybody that's with him. And hopefully it's all like, you know, He had to go back and finish something at home. Something simple. What else do we got? Papa, you're hilarious. Everything is dropping as we speak. Okay, all right. I will say this. I'm seeing this on ESPN Chicago. This looks like it happened 22 minutes ago. I'm just saying. I'm not saying you're wrong, Baki. I'm just saying. I expect better out of you. I got Ben Johnson standards for you, Baki. You've been on games. I hate that they lost Hankins. Yeah, no Deion Hankins today either. That seems like that could be something that I'll be real with you. That may be one of those guys that you don't keep around because of that. Remember, he was dealing with a shoulder injury already, but the injury, he's on injured reserve right now due to a quad injury. Adrian Matt said, how's the run game been looking in your opinion? I'll say this. I've joked about this a couple of times on the show. It truly is like Sylvie said. Offensive line makes a block, you go, line goes forward. Offensive line makes a block, line goes forward. And because of that, usually I'm seeing Swift gain 3, gain 4. That's a good thing to have if you do that 3-4 times. That's a good thing to have if you continue to do that time after time after time. And what it does is it makes your run game relevant, which makes your passing game even more dangerous because we're seeing a ton of those bootlegs to the right where you're hitting Colston Loveland or Cole Kmet in the flats and they're turning it upfield. Jordan, yep, Britton Brown looks good. Does. Still look good today. I've been live for almost an hour. Hey, man, I'm going to get up out of here. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Shout out to you guys for pulling up for a late night stream. I just wanted to make sure that I got you a video out for this evening based on this morning's content or based on this morning's practice this afternoon. I'm all over the place. I'm tired, y'all. I'm going to get up out of here, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. As always, it's your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down. One love. Peace.
Red Nation, are we here? The best show for Chicago sports.